I stared at the numbers on the slip, heat crawling up my neck. 75 cents. That was my value after years of work, after pulling this company from the gutter. It wasn't a mistake, it was humiliation, deliberate and sharp. My so-called boss leaned back in his leather chair when he handed it to me, eyes gleaming with the kind of cruelty men use when they think they've already won. "Market's tough," he said. "But don't worry, stick around, something better might come." I didn't respond. He thought silence meant defeat. It didn't. It meant calculation. Years ago, when I joined the firm, I admired him. Sharp dresser, silver tongue, a man who claimed loyalty mattered more than profit. He'd shake your hand and look you in the eye, and you'd believe him. I did. I believed him when he said we were building something together. I believed him when he promised, "Your sacrifices won't go unnoticed." I believed him enough to work nights, to miss dinners with my mother when she was still strong, still laughing. Now she lay in a hospital bed, wires clinging to her frail body like parasites. Bills stacked on my counter like bricks pressing against my lungs. And this man, this snake, handed me humiliation on company letterhead. I noticed the shift months before. My projects reassigned, invitations to meetings lost, new hires seated above me, smirking with their quick promotions. But the pay stub? That was confirmation. This wasn't neglect, it was war. And he didn't know I'd already dug the trenches. Years back, when I first started, I'd been the one to design the financial systems, routing, reporting, tracking. My fingerprints were on every ledger, every wire transfer, every shadow account created for tax efficiency. He thought I walked away from that code when I got promoted. He thought wrong. I left back doors, hidden triggers, fail-safes buried so deep not even his auditors could smell them. Insurance. Not for him, for me. So when I opened that pay stub, I didn't rage, I didn't argue. I nodded, pocketed the insult, and walked out of his office like a beaten man. He smirked at my back. Good, let him. That night I went home, sat beside my mother's bed, and held her fragile hand. Machines beeped rhythmically. She whispered, "Don't let them break you." I kissed her forehead, promised her I wouldn't. And then I opened my laptop. It started with a trigger, a single command buried inside a routine audit file I sent myself years ago. One click and the system began to unravel. Not chaotically, not carelessly. Controlled. Surgical. Money moved quietly, in patterns designed to look like his own hand pulling the strings. Shell accounts. Offshores. Fake contractors with names borrowed from obituaries. Each transfer small enough to slip beneath alarms, large enough to build momentum. I watched numbers shift like tides. 1 hour later, $1.2 million bled from his empire into my web. The calls started soon after. First, his assistant, voice shaky. "There's an issue with payroll, some discrepancies." Then him. His voice was steady, but I could hear it, the faint tremor of a man who feels the floor cracking. "Did you touch the system?" he demanded. I let the silence stretch until it stung. Then, "I only make 75 cents an hour, remember?" Click. The beauty of a trap is timing. You don't spring it too fast. You let them crawl inside, get comfortable, feel safe. So I didn't take everything at once. I let more bleed, hour by hour. His safety net shrinking while he scrambled to find the hole. Each morning I showed up to work, face blank, tie straight. He avoided my eyes now, consumed by panic. His swagger cracked, his voice sharper with everyone else. I watched, waited. The confrontation came sooner than I expected. He stormed into my cubicle, sweat on his forehead. "You think you're clever," he spat. "You'll go down with me if you play this game." Finally, I looked him in the eye. Calm, steady. "I'm already down. You put me there." His face twisted, but I saw it, the flicker of fear behind his rage. He didn't know what I'd taken, how deep it went, or how much more I could pull. That uncertainty was my weapon. I didn't bankrupt him in one stroke. That would have been mercy. I made him bleed slow. Accounts frozen without warning. Partners backing out of deals. Regulators sniffing around transfers that looked suspiciously like fraud. He didn't know the half of it was staged. And through it all, I kept my mask. The underpaid, overlooked worker. Invisible. The perfect ghost. Weeks later, he was gone. Forced out. Reputation shredded. Bankrupt. Me? I resigned with a polite email. My final paycheck still said 75 cents an hour. I laughed as I closed it. My mother's bills are paid now. Her room filled with fresh flowers, her nurses well compensated, her comfort secure. She asks me sometimes how work is going. I smile and say, better than ever. Because work isn't